He walked into the crowd and vanished forever. The words are a whisper. They are a chill that crawls up the spine. They tell a story that has no end. This is the story of a man named Arthur Finch, a simple man, a quiet man, a man who, on a damp October evening, stepped off a curb and into a river of people. He was there one moment, he was gone the next. The streetlights buzzed, the damp air hung heavy. The city kept moving, but Arthur Finch did not. He was erased from the world as if he were never there at all. This story is not about what we know. It is about what we do not. It is about the empty spaces in the narrative, the gaps in the CCTV footage, the silence where there should have been a scream. Arthur had plans for the next day. He had a dentist appointment. He had a book on his nightstand, open to the middle. He was a man in the middle of a sentence. The night he disappeared, the air was thick with a low-hanging fog, blurring the edges of everything and swallowing sound whole. The mystery begins on a normal street, one you might walk down every day. Cars passed, people hurried home. Music drifted from a bar on the corner. Arthur Finch said goodbye to a colleague after a late meeting. He smiled, adjusted his hat, and turned to walk toward the bus stop. The street was full of faces, anonymous faces passing in the dim light. He was just another person in the city's vast, uncaring flow. The city watches itself. Cameras are everywhere. They are mounted on buildings. They are perched on traffic poles. They are silent, unblinking eyes. One of these cameras captured Arthur Finch's final known moments. The footage is grainy. It is cold and impersonal. It shows him walking along the pavement. His pace is steady. He does not look around. He seems to have a destination in mind. He passes under a flickering neon sign for a laundromat. The red light washes over him. He is back in the shadows. He approaches a denser part of the crowd. People are clustered near a crosswalk, waiting for the light to change. Arthur moves into the group. He is visible for a few more seconds. A shoulder here, the top of his hat there. He is surrounded by strangers. Their bodies create a wall around him. He is obscured. The camera, positioned high above, records the scene without emotion. Then, something happens. It is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is technical. The video feed cuts. For 3 full seconds, the screen is black. There is no static. There is no blur. Just a clean, sudden void. When the image returns, the scene is almost identical. The crowd is still there. The light is still changing. The cars are still moving. But Arthur Finch is not. Eyewitnesses were supposed to fill the void. They were supposed to paint a picture of what the camera missed. But their memories were like fragments of a broken mirror. Each person saw something different. No 2 reflections matched. One woman, a student waiting for a bus, said she saw a man in a dark coat arguing with someone. The words were low, she said, tense, but she could not see the other person's face. She looked away for a moment, and when she looked back, the man was gone. A taxi driver stopped at the red light gave a different account. He told police he saw a man matching Arthur's description get into a dark sedan. The car was idling by the curb. The man got in the back seat quickly, without looking back. The car then pulled away, disappearing into traffic. He could not remember the license plate. He could not describe the driver. It was just a fleeting observation. A third witness, a man from a nearby newsstand, offered a stranger story. He said he saw the man, Arthur, just standing alone near an alleyway. He was not waiting for anyone. He was just staring into the darkness. The vendor turned to help a customer. When he looked again, the spot was empty. The alley was empty. This witness was sure it was him. He remembered the hat. These accounts were impossible to reconcile. Did Arthur get into an argument? Did he get into a car? Did he walk into an alley? Detectives tried to create a timeline, but it was a tangled mess. Each witness was certain, yet together they created a fog of confusion, as if the crowd itself had formed a mirage. The silence was the strangest part. In the minutes after Arthur Finch vanished, no one seemed to notice. The crowd at the crosswalk dispersed. People continued on their way. No one screamed. No one pointed. No one reported a man being dragged away. No one reported a man collapsing. The rhythm of the street continued unbroken. The city's heartbeat did not skip. It was a perfect disappearance, executed in a space full of potential witnesses, all of whom saw nothing definitive. The absence of alarm was as unsettling as the disappearance itself. Later, when police canvassed, a bartender said the noise on the street seemed to dip for a moment. Not silence, a hushing, as if someone had turned the volume down for a few seconds. Another person, walking their dog, remembered a sudden cold spot on the sidewalk. These were not facts, they were feelings, eerie footnotes to an impossible event. The lack of physical evidence was just as profound. They searched the street, they searched the gutters, they searched the nearby alley. They found nothing, no wallet, no button, no scuff marks. His phone went completely dead. It did not ring. Its GPS signal blinked out at the exact same location and time. It was a clean break, too clean. Who was Arthur Finch? To understand his disappearance, detectives tried to understand the man. He was 47 years old. He worked as an accountant. He lived alone in a small, tidy apartment. He was divorced, with no children. Predictable, reliable, a man of quiet habits. He was not the type to make a scene. He was not the type to have secret enemies. He paid his bills on time. He watered his plants every Wednesday. His life was orderly. No signs of a planned departure. His passport in a drawer, his suitcase in the closet, food in the refrigerator, a library book due the following week. No unusual activity, no large withdrawals, no strange transfers. He had not been in debt. He had not been in trouble. Yet a few small, strange details emerged. In his desk, inside a book about astronomy, detectives found hand-drawn maps. Not maps of any known place. Intricate charts of stars, strange symbols, lines connecting points. His colleagues knew nothing. His family had never seen them. A secret hobby, perhaps, or something more. His sister recalled he had seemed distracted. He mentioned feeling like he was being watched. He brushed it off as work stress, a small, unsettling fragment. In the vacuum of evidence, theories began to form. They ranged from the plausible to the fantastic. Each tried to explain the impossible. How a man could vanish from a crowded street under the watchful eye of a camera, leaving absolutely nothing behind. The first and most conventional theory was a targeted abduction. A professional job, quick, quiet, exploiting the crowd for cover. This theory said the blackout was deliberate. Perpetrators with access to the network, or a jammer, creating 3 seconds of darkness. They could have pulled him into a waiting vehicle. It explains the speed, the lack of witnesses, but not the motive. The second theory, he chose to disappear. Quiet life, hidden despair, a meticulously planned escape, a new identity, a pickup at that exact spot. The blackout was luck. He stepped into a car and shed his old life like a skin. But why leave his money and passport? People who run need resources. The third theory was the strangest, whispered online and in late-night bars. It suggested Arthur never left the street. Something on the street came for him, a tear in reality, a glitch that swallowed him. In a case with no logical explanation, the illogical begins to seem possible. Arthur Finch's case did not exist in a vacuum. Investigators found unsettling echoes in other disappearances, across cities, across decades. In 1988, Elisa Thorne vanished from a busy Chicago train station. Camera cuts to static for a few seconds. When it returns, she is gone. No witnesses, no body. In 2003, a student in London told friends he was grabbing a drink. He walked into the throng and never returned. Between one camera and the next, he simply vanished. These cases were defined by what they lacked: no struggle, no clear motive, no ransom notes, and often a technological failure at the moment of disappearance. A camera glitch, a sudden loss of phone signal, a brief localized blackout. Detectives wondered if there was a connection, a lone predator, or something else entirely. The link was tenuous, whispers and coincidences. But the pattern was there. Ordinary people, public places, stable lives, vanished in a blink. Trails went cold instantly. The cases were filed away, unsolved. They became local legends. For families, open wounds. For investigators, maddening puzzles hinting at a dark recurrence. Subscribe if you crave the unknown. Today is October 18th, 2025. Years have passed since Arthur Finch walked into the crowd. The case is cold. The file sits in a dusty box. Conflicting reports. Grainy images. The CCTV loop still circulates online. People watch, pausing, replaying, searching for a clue. They see shadows. They see faces in the grain. They see what they want to see. But no one has found an answer. The 3-second gap remains a void. His apartment has a new tenant. The laundromat has closed. The street looks different. The feeling remains. On foggy nights, people walk a little faster. They glance over their shoulders. They think of the man who was erased. The story has become part of the city's fabric. We walk on solid ground, surrounded by people, under the light of 1,000 electric eyes. We believe we are safe. We believe we are seen. But are we? The human mind craves resolution. We need a beginning, a middle, an end. Arthur Finch's story is a permanent middle, a question mark that hangs in the air. His disappearance forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. The world is not always logical. Sometimes, people can just be gone. The threads that tie us to our lives can be cut, cleanly, and without a sound. Comment what you think truly happened that night. Share this if you've ever felt someone vanish without a trace. We may never know how or why. We are left only with the silence and the space where a person used to be. What do you think happened to Arthur Finch? Was he taken? Did he leave? Or did he encounter something else entirely in the fog that night? The questions are for us to carry. The case offers no relief. A haunting, quiet testament. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved. They remind us we are all one step away from vanishing. And so we are left with the final, uneasy whisper. What really happens when someone walks into a crowd, and vanishes forever? Subscribe if you crave the unknown. More vanishing cases around the world. Next on MindVeil. New investigations soon. Stay in the dark.